What's up, Fantasy A Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and today's video, we are going to focus on Week 7 top quarterback matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my good friend and co-host, aka the Fantasy Guru, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Josh. What's up, 18 Fantasy Nation? Thanks for having me back, people. Let's go. Hopefully my Chiefs can get it together. So we've got a quarterback top matchup list for you this week 7. Let's before we get right to the list, I want to give you these guys off the top like we always do. If you drafted these guys and you have them, man, start them. So Mahomes, Rodgers, Murray, Jackson, Allen, Stafford, and Brady. If you got them and they're not hurt or on a bye week, you start them every week, man. Just want to keep, reiterating that. So one of our top matchups we got for this week is Jalen Hurts versus Las Vegas, the 10th ranked defense versus a QB and pass. I don't actually love this matchup, but I like this matchup, and he's like a Kyler Murray, a true dual threat quarterback. I know he didn't have a ton of yardage last week, but he's just another dual threat. And I really think that, I know Vegas won last week versus Denver, but losing their coach, man, there's going to be a time when these guys hit the wall. And I don't know if it's this week or not, but it very well could be. And Jalen Hurts could go off and have a big game. So we really do like this matchup this week. What was his numbers last week?
Yeah, we should really like this matchup. I actually think it'll be a close matchup. Last week, his stats, 12 of 26 for $115, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And like you said, he's going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, ranked 10th against the quarterback. He also had 10 rushes for 44 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that helped out his stats.
Yeah, he's a dual threat, people. So when he doesn't get it done with his arm, he's most likely going to get it done with his legs. Kyler Murray had a few of those games last year, but he's really come into his own this year. Murray has. So look for Jalen Hurts to do the same. He was a stud in college. I look for him to continue to perform and just put up great numbers. And this week could be another great week. He may do it with his arm this week since it's against Carr and Vegas. I think they're averaging 300 plus, almost 400 yards passing a game. They're really putting up some yards. So look for them to do more of the same, and Jalen Hurts and Philly trying to keep up with them. So he should have a good game.
Yep, agreed.
All right, who do you got next? You said.
Yeah, next I want to throw out Tonga Viola. Last week he was 33 of 47, 329 yards, 2 TDs. He did have 1 interception, 3 rushes for 22 yards, and they go up against Atlanta, 29th ranked against the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love this matchup too versus Atlanta. They give up a lot of yardage in the past. Tua played well last week, even though they lost, and they're bringing back Devontae Parker this week. Jalen Waddle is just on fire, people. So how can they double team both of them? And you got Gaskins and Jasecki, the tight end. So there's a lot of weapons for him to get rid of the ball, and he's starting to build chemistry with all of them. He already has it with Waddle. So I really like this matchup also this week.
Yeah, I agree. Next, I'd like to go with Sam Darnold. Last week, 17 of 41, 207 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have 1 interception. He did have 4 rushes for 48 yards, and he ended up having a fumble. This week, they go up against the New York Giants, ranked 28th against the quarterback.
Yeah, I saw that in the highlights last week where he did fumble and he had the interception. He had a tough matchup last week, Darnold did. I believe it was the Vikings. The Vikings have a pretty good defense. So Giants have a lot weaker defense and having a lot more problems with their offense, which means more opportunities for Darnold and the offense, Hubbard as well. So he's going to make the list on the running back list this week, people. So with that said, I believe that it's going to, take a little bit of pressure off of Darnold. He may rush for as many yards, but he was forced to kind of rush those. From what I saw in the highlights, he was being forced out of the pocket. So he's kind of more of like an Aaron Rodgers. He's got a great arm and can throw the ball pretty much anywhere, but has to use his legs to try to get out of some trouble. So he's not a true dual threat like, let's say, a Murray, but he can get you some yardage in the rushing side as well, like he said in the stats. So look for Darnold to have a lot better game this week. They're missing their running back, Barkley, and they're just struggling all over the place in their offense, even though, we still like Daniel Jones as a quarterback. He always puts up a lot of passing yards. So there's still some points to be had in this matchup, but I think Darnold has a really good matchup and we like it this week.
Absolutely. I think this game is where he gets back on track. I look for him to possibly throw 300 to 350 yards, a couple of touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if he don't put one in the ends. He don't run it in himself this week against this awful New York Giants defense.
Yeah, it's pretty bad there. So, yeah, I agree. He's going to have a good game. Possibly gets 2 in the air, touchdowns, and 1 on the ground, like you're saying. We'll never know there. Who you got next?
Next, I'm going to throw out there Carson Wentz. Last week, he was 11 of 20, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. This week, they go up against San Francisco, who just coming off the bye week. They're ranked 25th against the quarterback.
Yeah, so we like this matchup because San Francisco's 25th versus the pass and quarterback. They got a real balanced offense there in Indy, and so with Taylor going to bring the defense forward a little bit, Carson will be able to throw over the top to Pittman and some of the other targets. I don't know. Did they say if T.Y. Hilton's going to play?
I've not heard yet.
Because he did. He had a great game last week, but he hurt his quad or something. So if he's out, I'm not saying it's going to hurt the passing game, but there'll be someone else to catch the ball like there's been. So I do like that Michael Pittman Jr., though. He's a good wide receiver. Look for Carson to probably build off what he did last week, probably throw for over 250 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. Next guy on the list, Teddy Bridgewater. Last week, he was 35 of 49, 334 yards, 3 TDs, but he threw 3 interceptions to go along with them. He had 2 rushes for 9 yards. This week, they're going up against the Cleveland Browns. They're ranked 30th against the pass.
Yeah, so last week is kind of a similar story as what happened to Darnold. Bridgewater had a real tough matchup last week, and he still put up 334 yards. Like he said, he had 3 picks and 5 sacks. He gave up 5 sacks. So this week versus Cleveland, though, I believe they fixed that. They don't give up as many sacks, and I don't think he throws as many interceptions. I mean, you never know. He might get a tip ball and they get 1, but I don't believe he throws 3 this week. And he's been building a lot of chemistry with Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and the rest of the offense there. So I think that he's another great matchup versus Cleveland at 30 ranked defense versus QB and pass. And I bet you he throws for another 300 yards this week and a couple touchdowns, maybe even runs one in himself. I don't know. But, he'll have another solid game this week, and you can plug and play him for the bye weeks. We like this matchup a lot. And he's one of the guys on the waiver wire video people. Matter of fact, Darnold, Wentz, and Bridgewater are all on the waiver wire, and Tua. So think about that, and we like their matchups. I mean, of course, we love the 7 guys on top, but we also like these matchups. So plug and play these people, man.
Absolutely. And last but not least, let's throw out there Ryan Tannehill. Last week, he was 14 of 22 for $197, 1 touchdown. He rushed 3 times for 21 yards. And they go up against the Kansas City Chiefs, ranked 31st against the pass.
Yeah, so, anybody going against the Chiefs seems like they're up for a good game. So I look for Tannehill to throw for probably 250-plus yards this week, probably a couple touchdowns. I do like this matchup versus my Chiefs. Anybody going against our defense, it seems to have a day. So until we fix that, which we kind of did a little bit at the end of the game last week versus Washington. We held them scoreless there at the end, and that was a big win for our defense. So we'll see what happens. I'm not saying that we fixed anything, people. We're just saying we have cores of good defense, which we can build on that. So, but I still think Tannehill with that, it's going to be hard with Henry, man. We're going to be putting so many people in the box. We're already hurting with injuries in our safety position and our cornerbacks. So we're going to have a time with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. So, I mean, it's just going to be one of those games where I hope it's kind of like it's probably going to be like the Baltimore game, people, where both teams score in the either, I would say, low 20 or upper 20s, low 30s. And it's going to be whoever has the ball probably last, kind of like what happened with Tennessee last week when they won that game at the end. So, really, really good matchup for Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, but I hope my Chiefs can win.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think this has got the makings of a shootout written all over it. With A.J. Brown running around. If Julio Jones is able to make it back this week, I think he's hurt. I think he's messed up that hamstring again from a few weeks back.
Oh, yeah, re-injured it. I haven't not read his report yet.
Yeah, and then there you go. You got Derrick Henry running down up the middle. So
I was going to say, the Chiefs right now can't stop a nosebleed, let alone a running back of his caliber. So look for them to run inside, outside, all over us. So Henry's going to have a day, people. He's going to be at the top of the next list we're about to put up. So stay tuned, man. Keep giving us all the love. Subscribe, like, share. Go check us out on our Twitter page. What else you got, bud?
That's it. Guys, if you need a quarterback to start this week, or you need one to put back for a future bye week, grab one of these guys before they get picked up. If you enjoyed this video,
four of these 6 guys we just gave you are on the waiver wire video for the quarterback section. So you could literally pick these guys up and plug and play them. The only ones aren't just Tannehill and Hurts. So
if you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. If you have a question, comment, drop it down below. Hit us up on our Twitter page at FantasyA-Team1. And remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.